Who's bouncing the ball?
Welcome to our 2022-23 High School Basketball Media Day here live at Nets on Fire. Devin Dixon, Mark Musgrave, Caden Formaster, and the coach Casey Winters, the Fan Sports Network media panel, ready to take you through every single boys team in the region as well as every single girls team in the region. And now joining us on set, a team that made a state championship appearance last year, went 19-6, is the Dixie Flyers and Coach Tyler Roberts. Coach, hello and welcome. If we can start with you and we'll get to your players, go ahead and take us through that state championship appearance and take us through the offseason and give us an overall preview and outlook for the Flyers this year.
All right, yeah, thanks for having us on. Obviously that state championship game was a lot of fun and a great experience for our guys to kind of put together a run down towards the end of the season with having some injuries, and we had to have some young guys step up. And, I think that's going to help pay some dividends hopefully this year coming into the season, having that experience. And then also we put together, a really tough summer schedule. We kind of went around and played, went to Arizona, played in California 3 or 4 times, Vegas, and then Salt Lake, and tried to put together about 83 games of playing some tough competition. So really excited about this year and the group that we had that we have, and obviously they've played together since about kindergarten, so that's a lot of fun.
I love post play, so I'm going right to Kyle. Kyle, this question for you. What have you worked on in the off season to make you a better player this year in the post?
Just more post play, and then also on my shooting, just outside. Just been working on all that, and free throws.
What's more exciting, a three-pointer or a slam down dunk?
Oh, a dunk.
All right.
I'm going to go to both of our guards here with Jordan and Grant. Now, you guys are returning from last season, and play last season looked great. We'll start with Jordan, but what have you two done to improve in the offseason to make that just a little bit better?
Done a lot of ball handling and just keep playing my role as a passer. Just working on ball handling and passing mostly.
I've done a lot of ball handling too, just finishing around the rim, passing, talking with teammates, chemistry.
All right, Coach, what's the one thing maybe besides experience that you think is going to take you to that next level this year?
Well, our focus this year really needs to be on the defensive end and rebounding. Yeah, we have Kyle, obviously, one of our bigs, and then just our guards, 1 through 4, we're a little shorter, I guess you could say, so we definitely need to focus in on rebounding. And anytime we can get some offensive rebounds will obviously help us there. But the other thing that I like about this team is all of our guards can shoot it. And so they just need to be confident and be able to, we can play out of Kyle and let him do his thing, but anytime there's a double, I think, is another thing that we got to be able to just make open shots.
Dixie Flyers with us, Coach Roberts, Jordan Roberts, Kyle Lemke, Grant Carter. Coach, talk to us a little bit about, your overall perception of how good Region 10 could be in some of the battles and rivalries. And then I'm interested to get your thoughts on Layton Christian, who's going to be eligible for the 4A state playoff this year.
So Region 10, I've been saying this for every year that I've been coaching, originally Region 9, but I still will say that, Region 10 is the toughest region in the state. And, even talking to some coaches up north, like Coach Cuff and those other guys, Dan Lunn at Corner Canyon, it's different down here because we all know each other. And up there, they're kind of scattered a little bit. The kids don't know each other. And we have families that have gone, went to Dixie. Now they live in Snow Canyon. So it's just different. Every night's a rivalry game. And our coaches obviously do an extremely good job of scouting, and everybody kind of knows everybody that way. So every game is a rivalry game. And that's what makes it exciting and a great opportunity for these guys to have that. And so Region 10 is just tough. It's tough, which is awesome, too, because it prepares you for state. And that's what I love about it is, we have that opportunity to get better every single night and have it be like a playoff game. And with the Layton Christian question, that's a tough one, right? They can recruit internationally. Most of their players are not even from the States, which makes it a little more difficult. They also currently have extra amount of games, because they're playing independent, but I think they're going to hopefully make them play the same amount of us, get down to that 20 mark, maximum of like 24 or whatever. But, biggest thing is if they're going to play 4A, then they're going to have to come and play against our 4A teams, right? And I think we have some really good teams in the state that will compete with them, and hopefully we get that opportunity.
You guys played them in the summer. Was it close?
Yeah, we beat them by about 12 this summer, and I added them to our preseason schedule. So we'll go see them in December, end of December.
Jordan, I'm just curious, does basketball ever turn off? I mean, Dad's a coach. Do you guys ever talk about football or anything when you're home or outside of the gym?
No, not basketball never stops. But I mean, watching college football and stuff is fun always. But since college basketball started, like we've been watching that a little bit, so that's always fun. And then like watching like what plays they run and like they're running the same play we do sometimes. So that's always fun, just watching college basketball and seeing like what they're running and what we can do.
Your dad hasn't pulled out his old highlight film. He made you watch that, has he?
I've seen a few games from him, but a few highlights, but nothing much really.
Kyle, I'm just curious, how much has Coach Roberts' system changed last year compared to this year? You guys got some new wrinkles this year?
It's a lot of the same stuff, but we added a lot more. Like, since we're not as big, we've been focusing a lot on rebounding and just like different plays, and just a lot kind of the same, but a little bit different.
Grant being a lefty, I love lefties, by the way. Being a lefty, do you think that gives you an advantage playing other guys?
I don't know if it's an advantage, but I mean it can be, certainly, because most people want to drive right every time. But yeah, going left is the way I like to go. So.
Coach, take us through some of your other players that aren't here representing the Flyers. How tough was it with tryouts this year? And, you know, tell us about how deep this team is. You going to have a 7, 8, 9-man rotation this year, getting some varsity time?
Yeah, so obviously tryouts is probably the worst week for any coach, right? Because we have to, have some cuts, but also says a lot about a program when we have that many guys try out. So, this year we have against some younger guys with Damon Myers, and then you guys probably know Lakin Wilden, a kid that's really developed over the offseason, really bouncy, long, lanky, and gives us a different look too as he can come in. He's a senior. And then you have Laker Wilden, who is, or Laker Ward, that's from northern Utah that moved down here last year. And, Tyson Forsey, another young guy, a sophomore that comes in and gives us some minutes. So, yeah, we could go 10 deep if we needed to. And I think you need that. You never know in a state tournament or with injuries and with foul trouble. You never know. So I really like this team again this year and the chemistry. And, playing all those summer games, I think they had more fun at the beach and at the hotels than they did playing basketball. So that's probably what I like most, is just hanging out with these guys.
What adjustments over the summer have you made? Obviously, you talked about going a little bit smaller, but any other adjustments that you've made in the off-season to this system?
Yeah, I mean, one of the adjustments, too, is obviously with the shot clock, which we haven't really talked about, and that's going to be exciting. I think it's a great adjustment for high school basketball in Utah. And, that's one of the things that we need to get better at is late shot clock situations. I think it allows, players to have an opportunity to score more, but it also adds a coaching element, whether it's defensively or offensively. And I like that challenge, and that's exciting, things that we can work on defensively late in the shot clock, and then things that we can run, as the shot clock's running down. So I would say that's one of our focuses, is just execution in both of those, and then the other thing being just playing faster. Going with our 4 guards, with John Southwick, that didn't get a play last year with a torn ACL, and he was only a freshman last year who would have played for me. Being a sophomore, he's just a tough, hard-nosed 4 guy that very effective and can really do his job there.
So what's the one game on the schedule that you guys are looking forward to this year?
Layton Christian will be fun, obviously, but playing Snow Canyon again will be fun too.
Yeah. RSL too.
And probably against Crimson too. That'll be a good one.
Is there any game you're not looking forward to?
No.
Oh.
It's hoop season. They're fired up from all. The Dixie Flyers, everybody. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys in. Best of luck. Have a great season, and we'll be calling a lot of your games. Look forward to seeing you down at the hangar.
Thanks, you guys.
Dixie Flyers, that'll use up all our time. It goes fast, but we're just getting started today. Stay with the Snow Canyon Warriors. Join us on set next. Hey, everybody. Welcome back here on the Fan Sports Network and STG News. Devin, Mark, Caden, and Coach Casey Winters our Fan Sports Network panel. And now the defending champs are in the building, the Snow Canyon Warriors. 24 wins to just 2 losses, of course. Won the state championship in a packed Burns Arena house, 50-41. And they're trying to repeat. Coach, before we get to the players, want to kind of get your overall assessment of the offseason, give us a kind of recap of how it was feeling all offseason to be the champs, and then give us a preview of the team coming up this year.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate Nets on Fire hosting this and all of you being here. And this, what a fun experience it is to just go through the process last year. It ended, how we had hoped it end, and that's kind of how you always envision and hope what it's going to be like. And I thought our guys last year just bought into playing the right way, and that's what I'm excited about this group of guys coming up is every day in practice it was a dogfight. And these guys going back and forth, a lot of them, and we have some guys back with experience, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach, exciting, different play this year. The UHSAA is adding the 35-second shot clock. Does that change anything for you in your coaching style or put a little more pressure on you maybe towards the end of a game?
I think it's just going to add value to these guys in terms of now they've got to be able to create and do some things on their own. We played in some tournaments with it and didn't affect too much. We want to play fast. We want to get the ball up, and we're looking to get a good shot, quick shot, whenever we can get it.
So you guys are getting started bright and early this season, heading on the road to Nevada for your first game. What does that game and kind of your preseason look like in preparation for region play?
We tried to build it a little bit like we did this last year to get an out-of-state tournament or a tournament where you're playing some tough teams. We have some teams coming down, some 5A schools, and then also to go to the Mesa tournament. I've been there before in the past with some teams, and they bring the best of the best from Arizona and other states, and that's just an opportunity to go and let these guys learn how to play together, bond a little bit on the road, and just get tested. And I thought we did that last year in our preseason as well.
Coach's rosters change from year to year, and yours is definitely different than a lot of people thought it might be. What are some things you're looking for out of your group, and who are some players that you're expecting to step up?
Well, I'm just excited because we have this goal of ours to play the right way. We talk about it with our team motto and manifesto and all of the stuff that we vocalize, and these guys live it. They're concerned about winning, and winning looks different. And when it has to be one guy, it can be a lot tougher to try to do that. But I credit these guys with their leadership and the guys that even aren't here have helped us get to where we're trying to be at this point.
All right, let's introduce the players, and then we'll circle back to Coach for some more comments in just a second. But Cy Meacham right here, and then we got Will Warner, Owen Mackey, and Bear Levitt. And Cy, let's start with you. And first of all, give us a little glimpse, and our viewers and listeners a glimpse of what those rings look like. I didn't see any of you guys wearing the rings, but they're pretty cool.
They're super cool. I mean, they're fun to have, fun to look at. I just have it right by my bed. Just a good reminder of what that memory was last year. It was super fun.
Will, first state championship for you last year, basketball, or did you have one already?
No, yeah, that was my first one. Yeah.
How'd it feel, and what are the odds the Warriors can repeat?
It was great. It's kind of like just the feeling that you start chasing once you get it. And, I think that the odds are pretty high. I think if we play the right way this year that it can happen again for sure.
Will, you're a 2-sport player, or are you a 3-sport player? Do you have a spring sport?
Yeah, I run track.
Oh, do you? Between football, basketball, track, what's your favorite?
I don't know if I can answer that question on this.
Your basketball coach is right here.
Yeah. It depends on the season, is what I say. Whatever I'm doing, that'll be my favorite.
I love it.
Let's go to Owen. Owen, I know that there's a lot of hype around this team, and honestly, there's kind of some hype around you as well. You had a great season last year, but what have you done in the offseason to improve?
Well, thank you. This offseason, I played with this Nets on Fire club called Ignited, and we traveled and made some cool memories with other players from other schools around the state of Utah, and just been grinding, just that work.
Bear, what's your practices like right now? What does Coach have you guys doing? What are you guys working on?
We're just getting back into shape, conditioning at the end of practices, running back over plays from last year, new ones this year. just team bonding, I guess. Lots of time together.
Barry, you looking forward to your matchup with Kyle Lemke?
Oh yeah.
That'll be fun. Owen, what's the most points you scored in a summer league game this summer?
I think I had 43 one game.
That's it?
Yep.
I had 43 points my whole career.
Bear and Owen, when you guys walked in, you looked a little taller than you did last year. Now, Bear, you were already tall, but what was the growth over from last season to this season?
I think like 2 inches
Really?
for me. Yeah.
Owen?
I think it was just an inch,
Okay.
not a ton.
Maybe it's your hair. Maybe it's your nice hair
Yeah.
because you look taller today.
Probably the poof.
I thought, when Coach Meacham walked in, I thought you looked a little taller too.
Shrunk an inch or so.
Coach, talk about these guys a little bit. And I know you do have a couple guys that moved away. And how has that affected your chemistry?
Yeah, and we've had a couple guys that moved away, and we're going to miss them. We've loved having them in our locker room, but I've loved how these guys have handled adjustment. If you learn anything in the sport of basketball, is that there's change. And that can be with an injury, it can be with anything day to day. And these guys are, ready for the challenge. Cy, it's been fun to coach him, and he's kind of been waiting for his opportunities. And he's always getting himself in the gym, loves to shoot, and he loves to, make the right play. I feel like we've got multiple point guards on this team, which will be fun to have because we can outlet it to different guys. Will is just about winning. He makes each sport that he plays with better, each team that he's on. And he loves defense. He loves that challenge and wants to win. Owen, maybe one of the most efficient players I've coached. I've coached a lot of years. Lets the game come to him and raises the level of every guy he's with. And I think that's a skill that doesn't get talked about very much. But he does a great job. And Bear has been just a great leader in student council and away from the team. And he's dealing with an injury right now, but he's there and he's leading and he's waiting for his moment to get back. But in summer, he was playing at a level that we know that's going to help us. And we're missing a few guys here. Luke Hamlin, who's a scorer for us, who can help us be a guy that can play some great defense. Carter Murdoch, another senior, who is a bulldog on defense, and Robbie Christensen, who just loves to play hard and compete and raises our level.
Is that kind of the rotation right there, those 8?
Maybe in some kind of order there. I don't know. We've got some underclassmen, too, that may get some looks. And, Dre Smith and other guys who have been really doing well in practice. Carter Campbell, who was a junior, who's 6'8", and really put in some time. And they've worked with him with skill over here, and he's gotten a lot better.
Coach Winters asked the question earlier to the Flyer boys, but what team are you looking forward to playing? What game do you have circled on the calendar?
Probably state championship.
Yeah.
State championship game?
It's a great answer. Doesn't matter who it is. Just get back there.
Yeah.
Let's get back there, yeah.
Coach, I want to ask every coach this, and I know we're getting out of time here, but Leighton Christian's going to be playing the 4A state tournament. Give me your take.
They're an athletic team. They bring great players in from all over the country. They go and play anybody, and so they're not afraid to play anybody, and they've been pretty dominant in 3A. And we wanted to, get them on our schedule, and we're fortunate to be able to play them and get to see kind of what they're about. But they're going to test us like a lot of our teams are, through the whole year.
Any other questions for Coach or the players?
The target's going to be a little bit bigger on your guys' back, right? I think it always is for defending champions. So how are you guys going to handle that?
Say just, bring it on. We want to play. Bring your best game. We want to get better. We want to play the best teams at their best so that we can become our best as well.
I'm just curious, Will, how hard is it to shake off the football and get back in the gym? Is that a smooth transition? You're used to it. You've done it a couple seasons now.
I try to come to a few practices during football season when we have an off day so I can kind of stay in. And then it's hard not to, hit the guys during practice. Got to kind of calm down a little bit, but it's good to be back.
You think he's going to foul out of the first game of the season, Coach?
I just know he'll do what it takes to win. That's just fun to coach him.
How many set plays, Coach, do you have for Owen? 43. You said he's efficient.
That's what's the crazy thing is he had that 43 points, and I maybe ran 2 or 3 plays for him. So that's pretty high level of knowing I can give it up, knowing it's going to come back. And the guys know, the ball will go through him, and But he also has a big trust in his teammates, which helps us win.
All right, that's all the time we have. But Coach, congratulations on the state championship. Good luck trying to repeat, and thanks for bringing the guys in.
Thank you.
Fellas, have a safe, successful season, and hopefully we'll see you back in the state championship. We got to take a time out. When we come back, Desert Hills Thunder will join us next as our 2022-2023 Region 10 High School Basketball Media Day coverage continues. Welcome back, everybody, as our 2022-2023 High School Basketball Media Day continues. Just a reminder, the girls are coming up a little bit later, but now joining us, the Desert Hills Thunder. And we're live at Nets on Fire, and Devin, Mark, Caden, and Coach Winters, the panel from the Fan Sports Network. And let's bring in Coach Allred, and he's brought Lincoln Holmes and Chomp Jones and Boston Holbrook. We'll get to the players in a second, but Coach, let's start with you and bring us up to speed on the offseason. Give us an overall preview for your team and kind of the outlook for the Thunder this year.
Well, thanks for having us, Devin. We're excited to get going with the season. We had a productive off season. I felt like the boys have put a lot of time in individually and then also collectively. And we don't have a lot of size this year, and so we've kind of had to learn a little bit different style of play and try to do some things a little bit differently to counter some of the size of teams that we'll be competing against. But we're excited to get going, and we've got great senior leadership, and then we've also got a good mix of some young kids that we think as the season progresses, they'll be able to fill some roles and give us some quality minutes and a little more scoring punch as well.
So, Coach, not to give away any secrets, but with your not having that 6'7" guy that moved into the neighborhood, is it just going to be more of an up-tempo style of play?
A little bit, and the shot clock, will help us out a little bit, not having to, defend for an extended amount of time while teams try to throw it inside. So we're going to try, use the shot clock to our advantage, and then also we've kind of just flipped the coin a little bit where it might be difficult for us to defend other teams, but they're going to have a hard time defending us as well. So.
Now, I know you guys are playing some tournaments, to start the season, and a lot of that is some Region 11 teams. How important is it to go out there and get some of those 4A reps in early?
I think it'll be good. And the thing is those early games, it just gives you a good benchmark of where you're at and some areas that you've got to improve on. And undoubtedly, when you only have 13, 14 teams in classification, you're going to see a lot of those teams again down the road, especially if you're trying to get to the state tournament and make a run at it. I'm excited. I think for us and our team, the more times that we have an opportunity to see another team, that's to our advantage.
Coach, the region always changes from year to year. What are your thoughts on the region this year, team-wise, individual-wise, for not only, where you see your team being at, but also, all the other teams in the region?
The one thing that's always constant about our region is that it's always super competitive. I feel like all of the teams are going to come out and give you their best shot every night. The coaching, every team's well coached, and so you know that you're always going to be in a dogfight, and you just want to go out and compete and give yourselves an opportunity to win. But I think this year's the same as every other year, where there's just not a lot of difference between the top teams and the bottom teams, and a lot of it just kind of comes down to the little things and winning and losing some of those games.
We'll circle back to Coach for some more questions just a minute, but let's meet the players. Lincoln, Chomp, Boston, we got questions for you, boys. You ready to dig in? Link, let's start with you, man. First of all, congratulations on the state championship. Couple interceptions. Heck of a game, man. How'd that feel?
It felt great. I mean, I appreciate it, but it was a fun while it lasted, so basketball season's up.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, how's the transition been? I mean, right into the gym. I don't think you got any time off. You were behind, in fact, getting into the gym, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's definitely different. The conditioning. I mean, I'm still getting in shape, but it'll be tough.
Chomp, over to you. I feel that we've been robbed of watching you play extended minutes over the last couple of years. Update us on your knee.
Yes, sir. Right now it's feeling good. I'm not having no problems with it and kind of hit my stride at the perfect time.
Is there going to be any sort of limitations that you might have, either from doctors or coach or yourself?
No, sir, other than the brace, which I've been used to for 4 years now.
Okay.
Let's go to Boston. Boston, we talked about this team going a little smaller this season. What does conditioning look like then? Since this is a smaller team, I assume it's going to be quicker pace of play. How's conditioning been heading into the season?
Yeah, every drill we do has a conditioning element to it. We're making it a habit. We don't walk on the floor. Like in drills, getting a drink, we don't walk, we run. It's how we play, it's how we live.
Boston, what have you worked the hardest on in the offseason? Is there some specific things that you really put the time in on?
My shooting. I've worked a lot on my shooting and getting stronger. You know, you're going to have to guard some big guys in the region. So,
give us an idea, like how many shots you put up on a given Saturday?
On a given Saturday, I've been trying to get at least 200 makes a day. That's been our goal. It's been my goal from 3.
Boston, I saw you guys play a little bit earlier. It looks like, you know, you're working down on the block a little bit too, right? Link, is there anyone that can handle Boston down on the block?
I don't think anyone can handle his moves. I mean, he's definitely undersized, but I mean, he's got the swagger.
Lincoln, we know you're a two-sport athlete. Do you do anything in the spring? Track or anything?
I might try track, but we'll
Senior
see how
year,
it goes.
you might as well, right?
Might as well,
Get it
right?
all in. What's your favorite between football and basketball? And Coach Allred sitting right next to you.
Usually it's like during football season, I'll probably say football, but then basketball comes around. Basketball games are just the energy. I just love it, and then I'll probably say basketball. So we'll see.
Now, Chomp, again, we talked about, coming off the injury, getting ready to play a full season of basketball this year. Now, also being one of the guys that is returning, how big of a leadership role are you taking on this year, being able to be a part of this team from the get-go?
Well, I mean, it's easy having these two beside me, and also, like, the culture we've built is just really good. And so, like, my leadership standpoint is just making sure, like, we're doing everything right, like running off the court, like Boston said, and just doing the little things that we need to do to build that culture.
Go back to Coach for a second. How's Taven? I know he got a concussion in the state championship game. Has he been able to practice yet, or is he still in protocol?
He's still in protocol. I think he'll be able to start some non-contact things on Monday. So it'll be nice to get him back. Just another senior that's been there, done that. Great kid, strong body. And that's one of the things is that, I mean, you look at these guys, yeah, we're not, 6'6", but there's not a lot of guards around that are physically as strong as some of the guys that we have. And so I think we'll be able to play really good defense, regardless of size. And then offensively, I've been amazed, and Lincoln, he, coming out of football, you would think that he's rusty. I mean, we had practice Monday morning at 6 a.m. and he's there, and he's looking like he's had a basketball in his hand since, the end of last season. So it's been nice to get this week, get everybody in practice, and get going and start, getting ready for those first games.
And Coach, talk to us a little bit about some of the other players that aren't here with us today, some of the underclassmen. Who do you expect to step up?
Well, we have 6 seniors, and we're expecting a lot of them in terms of leadership and, whether they're starters or role players for us. Some of our underclassmen, Eli Allred, that was a sophomore for us last year, he'll play a big part in what we're doing. Jackson Holman, he's a junior, and he's got some length to him, great shooter. He's really starting to come into his own. I like some of the things that he's doing. Trey Landek, he's just a hard-nosed, tough kid that just keeps coming at you, and just competes. And so those 3 juniors, should hopefully give us some quality minutes and scoring. And then we've got a couple sophomores that hopefully they'll, as the season progresses, that they'll be able to fulfill some roles and give us what we need.
I want to ask Boston, shot clock, man. Excited for the 35-second shot clock?
I'm so excited for the shot clock. I think it caters to our style, and yeah, I'm super excited.
Link, you looking forward to it too? Are you good with it?
I love it, actually. shot clock winding down, I feel like I can pull a shot I wouldn't usually be able to shoot.
And the coach can't say nothing about it.
Just point at the shot clock.
Okay, we need to have a discussion about that right now. If you see us holding the ball till the end of the shot clock to shoot bad shots, you're going to see Coach Allred going berserk on the sideline. So please.
What place do you enjoy playing the most in region, other than the Thunderdome?
I'd probably say Pineview. I just love their rims. They have nice rims.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I still remember my playing days, and there's a couple gyms I can remember where it just seemed like it was like a hula hoop that you were shooting into. It was soft and forgiving, and so I like that.
Desert Hills Thunder, that's all the time we have, guys. Thanks for coming in, Coach. Thanks for bringing the guys in. Best of luck. Season gets started against Ridgeline, so huge crossover game against Ridgeline next weekend, December 1st, first game of the season. And we'll see you at the Thunderdome soon, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Take a time out. Lots more coming up when we come back. Crimson Cliffs joins us next as our Media Day coverage of boys basketball continues live from Nets on Fire. Welcome back, everybody. Our Media Day coverage continues here on the Fan Sports Network. The panel here from the Fan Sports Network, Mark Musgrave, Caden Formaster, Coach Casey Winters, who's going to be joining us for some games during the year. Last year, he was the coach of Crimson Cliffs. And now the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs join us on set with their first-year head coach. And it was Casey's assistant coach last year, Coach Fairborn. Before we do that, though, special thanks to Nets on Fire for hosting our Media Day. Thanks to Appliance Wholesalers Plus, Finley Hyundai, Holbrook Asphalt, some of our great local sports partners. But, Coach, we'll start with you, and then we'll get to Jordan Eaton and Houston Johnson, who are representing the rest of your team. But give us a preview for the Mustangs this season and catch us up on the offseason and how tryouts went and how cuts went and how tough it was to form this team.
Yeah, for sure. We're really excited to get going. Really thankful, obviously, to Coach Winters setting things up so well for me stepping into an already well-run program. We're excited to have our football players back. We had a good run with the football team. It made tryouts a little bit interesting. I had a full week of just everybody else, and plenty of talent was there, absolutely, but we were ready to get these guys back in. Several of them coming in a little unhealthy, but we're band-aiding them back together and ready to roll. Had a great freshman class come out, but our varsity group was pretty solid and set just based off of last year what we had. Excited. We got just 3 seniors. Phoenix isn't here with us. He's out of town with his family, but we've got a great group of seniors with Jordan and Houston. Strong junior group as well, and we're excited to get going.
Coach, are you excited about the institution of the 35-second shot clock?
Yeah, we love it. We've played a couple of tournaments this summer with shot clocks up north, and it was great. I mean, we're really a run and gun, get up and go offense. There hasn't been an issue for us offensively. If anything, I've told them, hey, guys, we might want to take a few more seconds sometimes and find a better shot. But it hasn't been an issue for us offensively. Defensively, it's great. It's a reward when your players get down and play good defense, and they actually can shut a team down and get that 35-second violation.
Now, Coach, you mentioned you have a bunch of underclassmen, but how important is it that you have these seniors, and what has their leadership brought into this season?
Our senior leadership is going to be amazing for us. I mean, we've got Jordan, who's been playing varsity since he was a freshman, mixed minutes there, so he knows what it's like. Houston was a starter for a lot of the season last year as well, so both these guys really come in. They know what to expect and provide leadership for those juniors and sophomores who are playing up. Phoenix McWillis, who's not with us right now, has come back and really put in a lot of hard work towards being a good leader for this program.
And Coach, maybe talk about some of those underclassmen. I know you mentioned the junior class. I know there's some sophomores coming up through. Maybe talk about some guys that you're expecting big things from as the season goes on.
So we've got a lot of those guys. We've got about 8 juniors that I'll see the varsity bench at least, and playing time will be wherever it's available. But Scoop Johnson, Luke Johnson, we got a few Lukes in the program, so Scoop is what we call him. Expect him to see a lot of ball handling duties for us. Steele, of course, football star, going to come out and do good things for us. Boston Adamson, Jay Sweeten, a lot of names that you've heard out on the football field and come out and be making an impact for us in basketball as well. We've got a couple of great sophomores, Trevor Taylor, Drake Carroll, who we expect to come in and see some minutes for us as well. A lot of young guys who are going to see the court.
Jordan, I can't remember what quarter it was during the state football game, but you were down on the ground. And
Yeah.
I believe it was Steele Barbin's reaction. He puts his hands up on his helmet, and I'm like, oh, no. Jordan is hurt.
Yeah.
What was that injury? Obviously, you're back from it, so that is good news, but talk to us a little bit about that.
So I sprained my ankle against Dixie when we played them the first time, and I missed a couple games, just started recovering, and I played all the playoff games. And then in the state championship, it was I think it was the second quarter. Was it? I got tackled and I just like twisted it again, so I kind of re-injured that. But thankfully, I was able to go out again and play.
Did you let out some noises that maybe Steele wasn't used to hearing? Because his reaction, I was like, oh no.
No, I don't think I really said anything. I was just pissed. I remember me like punching the ground because I was like, not again, man. Like, it just sucks.
Let's bring in Houston. Hey, what are your thoughts about the bigs in the region? Obviously, one of the bigs moved away, and that was Lyman Simmons. But a lot of attention going to be on some of the post play, especially when you go up against like a Kyle Lemke at Dixie High School. Do you feel like you guys have some bigs to match up with teams that have more size in the region?
Yeah, I definitely think we do. He's definitely good, but our team has a ton of size, so I definitely think we'll be able to match up well with the bigs.
Houston, what have you been improving on yourself personally in the off season to get your game a little bit better?
Just trying to finish stronger in the paint. I've been doing workouts with Kyle, and yeah, just finishing stronger and getting to the hole.
How much does your dad help you with your career? Obviously, you played in the NBA. I mean, is that very advantageous? You guys have long chats. Do you guys break down film together outside of practices? What's that dynamic like for you, having him be your dad?
Yeah, it's cool. He definitely gives me a ton of advice, and we'll go over through film and do workouts, try to improve. But yeah, it's definitely nice having him to help me out.
Jordan, what was it worth it? Did you love it, man, playing football?
Yeah, dude, I loved it. It was probably my favorite sports season.
Why did you stop? Because you love basketball, right?
Yeah, well, sophomore year, the team just wasn't. We're like a brotherhood. Like, it was a bad environment. But yeah, I came back this year and it was amazing, man. It was a very special team.
But hoops has always been your first love?
Yeah, but I mean, it made me question a bit this last football season. So I don't know, man. We'll see how this season goes.
I wouldn't be surprised if you played well enough to get some scholarship offers next level.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see how that goes.
Is there any rust to shake off, or are you good? Are you hampered by the ankle? Have you been kind of limited?
I haven't really been practicing, so I'll probably take the rest of until Thanksgiving break off. But my shot's definitely a bit rusty, but it'll come with time. So I know I'll be back to where I was.
What are some games you guys are looking forward to this year?
Definitely Snow Canyon. It's the first region game at Snow Canyon.
That'd be fun.
The reigning champ, so it'd be nice to go play them.
Coach, I'm going to go back to you. When you saw Jordan down on the gridiron, what was your reaction?
I'll tell you, I watched football in a different light this year than I ever have before. Obviously, being involved in basketball, I've always been looking out for our athletes out there. But I'm down on the sideline every game watching. Jordan went down, not excited about that. Luke Childs, who I didn't mention yet, he would have been a great contributor for us. Tore his ACL 10 yards away from me, and I feel like I was probably still barbing on that one, hands to my head. But definitely, anytime one of these guys would go down, I was holding my breath, praying they get up pretty quick.
Hey, I'm just curious. Take us through your non-region schedule as you went out and scheduled games with the RPI, every game counting. Was that easy this year, hard this year, and what do you think of your non-region schedule?
For me, it was super easy to schedule because Coach Winters did it before he left.
I'll take all the blame.
But no,
or credit.
We like what we've got set up. We're excited for it. I'll be going through all that as this season comes along. But Coach Winters set us up really well. We're excited to go at it.
I've been asking every coach your thoughts on Layton Christian, and we'll be playing in the 4A state tournament this winter.
We'll play anybody you place in front of us.
I like that answer. Back to Houston over here. You didn't get to answer the question, so I want to ask you, what game is marked on your calendar coming up this season?
Definitely Desert Hills, because they're just our rival, and it's always a huge game, tons of fans, and yeah, just a big rival game.
Coach Winters asked a really good question to the Desert Hills Thunder. Where is your most favorite place to play other than Crimson Cliffs? Where do you guys like to go and play?
I like playing at Dixie. I think it's fun, like the student sections behind the hoop. So that's definitely cool, and definitely just a cool gym.
I'd probably say Snow Canyon. I like how the student sections are right there, so it makes it a lot funner. And I don't know, I just like the arena.
What was it like playing in 10,000 fans, and then you transfer into packed gyms? I mean, our fans the last couple of years have been crazy good. Like, every student section has been unbelievable. Do you like making them quiet, or is it funner to get your crowd really loud? You'd rather play at the field house, right?
Yeah, I don't really like pay attention to the crowd that much. I mean, I really don't like to pay attention to that. I just like to focus on the game. So playing with like 10,000 people watching, I don't really think didn't feel like any different.
Calm, cool, collect. It's Jordan Eaton, Houston Johnson. Coach, final comments. Your thoughts on just ready to make a run at the state title? You guys have the talent to do it.
We've got a lot of talent. We're excited to make a run at it. I'm excited to see how this region plays out. We've got a strong region. I think basketball is going to end the same way that football did. We should see a couple of Region 10 teams in that championship game. We hope we're a part of it.
All right. Any other questions for Coach of the players? Cliffs and Cliffs Mustangs ready to get their season going. The challenge at the Cliffs. They'll play Payson, Mountain View, and I think Salem Hills, the first 3 games of the season, right there the weekend after Thanksgiving. We'll take a timeout. Lots more coming up when we come back as our media day coverage continues with the Cedar Reds. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Our Media Day coverage continues. We're excited to be at Nets on Fire, part of the Be More Complex. They got the rink and a lot of cool stuff here. Come check it out if you're in St. George, making your way down from Cedar City, as the Cedar Reds have done that. They've come down and joined us. Glad to have first-year head coach Monks with us. Reds coming off a 6-6 region season last year, 13-11 overall. And, Coach, I want to start with an overall outlook and preview. And also, before we get into that, I want to ask you about taking over and becoming the head coach after Coach Esplin retired last season.
Yeah, so it's been good. Luckily I've been up there for a while now, so the kids know who I am and they know what to expect. And it's been a good start. I think they could say that they've worked pretty hard. And, I'm excited for this year. We're a little undersized, but we got kids that want to play basketball. And I think that's the biggest thing for us is they want to compete every game.
Did Coach Esplin plan this? I mean, was this smooth transition? Did he say, hey, I want you to get the job? What was that exchange like?
Yeah, so he was hoping I'd get it. It was hard for him. He been a part of sports for 25 years and been a part of basketball a long time. And so I think he's struggling a little bit with giving it up. But this was what he wanted. And so we were glad that it happened that way.
So we got the 35-second shot clock coming in this season. Are you excited about that? Is it going to change your coaching strategies at all towards the end of the game?
Oh, definitely at the end of the game. We played this summer quite a bit, and it didn't cause much of a problem until the fourth quarter. And then the fourth quarter hit, and when you're down 6 with 2.5 minutes left, it changes the game. You can worry about getting a stop, and then you can start pressuring from there. But I think that's where you'll see the biggest change in high school is last few minutes of a game. I don't expect it to be a big factor early in the game, first 3 quarters, like I said. But once you get down late game, you can start going, hey, we can get a stop, and we have time. Or you look at the end of a quarter, even 2 for 1, that type of stuff.
What did this offseason look like for your team as you were, able to go in and do some summer programs and whatnot? What did you guys work on throughout this offseason?
Just the biggest thing is making sure we're all on the same page. Terminology is the same. Making sure that they understand when I say something what it means if we happen to change that. And just philosophy. We changed a few things offensively, defensively, but for the most part, the last few years under Coach Esplin, he's allowed me to do a lot of things. And so there wasn't a ton of change for these guys.
I think every coach in the region is glad Zab's gone, right? I mean, he was so hard to scheme against and guard. But talk about how that changes your team and where some of those points are going to come from as you move into this new season.
Yeah, see, Zab was really fun to coach, and I think these guys will say that they miss playing around him because they benefited from having him on the team. But I think the way that we change is we don't have to look for one guy. I think at times Zab knew that he could take over, and sometimes everybody else would stand and watch a little bit. And I think we don't have that one guy that we're going to have to rely on. And I think that we can have 5 guys that can go get a shot at it or a bucket at any time.
Let's bring in the players, and then we'll circle back to Coach Monks for some more questions. Stockton Albrecht, Nate Rogers, Boston Garrett, and Ty Bronson, representing the rest of the team that's not here. And we'll get Coach's take on some other guys that are going to see some meaningful minutes in just a second. But Stockton, with a name like Stockton, I'm assuming you're named after John Stockton. Is that correct or incorrect?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my parents loved watching him. So
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Have you went back and watched some of his film?
A little bit, yeah.
All right. What would you say your closest compare? I know that's he's a Hall of Famer, but what do you try to emulate in John's game?
We're pretty similar in height, I can say that. But I just love watching him play because he's always looking for the open guy. And he's always getting his teammates shots around him, which is I think is cool, and that's what I'm going to try to do this year.
how much has Coach Monk's changed your schemes on offense or defense from what it was last year with him being on staff? Is it pretty similar?
Yeah, it is pretty similar. We have a lot of the same plays, a lot of the same looks and stuff like that. I think, like he said, we're going to be a little undersized, so we're definitely going to have to work with that, which it'll be fine. We'll get used to it.
Nate, I'm going to go on over to you. What have you worked on this off season to make you a better basketball player for the Cedar Reds?
Well, for the most part, I focused on making lifting a priority. You know, never really been the biggest or strongest, getting quicker in the weight room, but then just really being the point guard of this team, being able to have a good handle on the ball, good shooting, be able to play out of a ball screen, just stuff like that.
Now, Nate, this kind of can go for all of you, but you're on the mic. I'm going to ask you. I've been to Cedar, been to a few games there, and I will say that court, that stadium, that arena, whatever you want to call it, it gets loud in there. Do you guys feel like you have a little bit of a home court advantage with how loud the band gets and the student gets?
Definitely. I think the band above all is the advantage. I mean, students are good, but band is going crazy for all 32 minutes.
Ty and Boston, talk about what practice has been like so far. What are some things that you guys are focusing on to get ready for the season?
You know, make sure first of all, getting in shape for sure. Monks has made sure that's a priority, but learning to play a lot together and learning each other's game as much as we can, which will benefit us later in the season as we push to the postseason. And I think first getting in shape and learning each other's philosophy and how well we can play together is where we've been so far.
Cedar Reds hanging out with us here. Coach, back to you for just a second. I've been asking every coach. I want to make sure I get this in before we run out of time. Leighton Christian's going to be eligible to be in the 4A state tournament. I know there's some mixed feelings on that. What's your take?
I'm okay with it. The more teams, the better. I think it feels more like a state tournament at that point instead of a region tournament. You know, the last few years, I think our region's been really good. And so we're running into a lot of the teams early and late in the playoffs. And I think just the more you get, the more diverse, it feels more like a state tournament, right? And Leighton Christian's good. We saw him this summer a couple of times, and, you know, they're going to compete in this classification. And the more competition, the better. It makes these kids better. They have to be ready to play anybody that they line up against, and that's just another opponent that we could get.
Stockton and then Nate, actually just answer right down the line there. What game do you guys have circled on your calendar? Who do you guys want to come down I-15 and beat the most?
For me, it's probably Dixie. I don't know. We've always kind of struggled against them, and that's just one I want to get real bad.
Definitely Dixie for sure.
Long-standing rivalry, right?
Yeah, Dixie. Pineview's always a good matchup. Fun to play against.
I think Dixie's probably the biggest, most favorite one, but I think we're ready to take it one game at a time, and it's good to see a lot of familiar faces in the region and take it to the guys you know and played with over the summer and whatnot.
Would you rather beat Dixie or would you rather beat your crosstown rival, Canyon View?
That's probably going to have to go Canyon View just because someone's got to run the town and whatnot, but the rivalry down here doesn't get beat very often, and Dixie Cedar's always pretty good.
Now, you guys are getting started really early, game against Maple Mountain on the 22nd, so probably one of the earliest games we're seeing on the schedule. What led to that decision to get started so early, and what are you guys looking forward to the most as your season gets underway here?
The early games were a leftover Coach Esplin present. I said thanks for the first-year head coach so we get to play before Thanksgiving. So, but no, I'm just happy for us to get on the floor and see where we're at. Give us a point to kind of judge where we're at, what we need to work on before we get too far into this. And I think I'm excited to see what Maple Mountain has. I know they're quick and they're fast, they're athletic, and so I think it'll be a good matchup for us.
Ty, do you feel like you're further ahead at this point this year than you were at this point last year getting ready for the season?
I think, just as going back to what Coach Monk said, and it was great having Zab around, but, you know, it's hard to kind of rely on one guy at one time. And to know that I got these four guys here with me, that I can go day in and day out, and especially in this region, how tough it is that I could go game in and game out and know that I got them with me and that I can rely on them too. If I'm not having a good game, to step up and to win in this region, which is really hard.
Coach, how deep will you go? Like, how you got what's the bench look like?
We're going to figure that out early. I got some news on a senior that won't be able to go for a little while, and so we're going to see what that looks like. But I would imagine 7 to 9, probably 9 early. So.
More questions for the Reds before we run out of time? Coach Winters, you got something teed up over there?
No, I think one of the funnest questions we've asked is, everyone knows about the band in Cedar. My watch would go off about protecting my ears when we'd play up there, But and you've mentioned playing against Dixie, but is there a crowd that you guys just love going into their gym and beating up on them?
I think Snow Canyon, 100%. Their students really get after it, and that arena just something about it gets real loud in there, and it sure is fun to play in the hangar as well, for sure. But Snow Canyon probably takes that list for the student section in there. They get after it.
That was it a double overtime or triple overtime game at the Thunderdome 2 years ago? That had to have been a fun game to play in as well. That was crazy.
That was.
That's one of my favorite instant classics, as I like to say, in Region 10 basketball. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys down. Guys, have a safe, successful season. We'll see you, and we'll have a bunch of their games all season long right here on the Fan Sports Network, which is 93.1 up in Cedar City, or 1400 AM. And, Coach, good luck this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having us.
Cedar Reds, our Media Day coverage not done yet. We still got a couple teams to get to. We've got coming up next the Pineview Panthers, then the Hurricane Tigers, and then the girls will be stopping by as well. Stay with us, everybody. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Our Region 10 Basketball Media Day on the Fan Sports Network, St. George News. Devin, Mark, Caden, and Coach Winters hanging out with us here, and guests just keep rolling in. A star-studded day here from Nets on Fire. Coach Ryan Eves and the Pineview Panthers have joined us on set right now, and Coach brought 3 players to represent the rest of the team, Nash Schroeder, Canyon Dickinson, and Weston Watkins. And we'll get to the players in a second. But, Coach, as we always do, this is not your first rodeo. Let's start with you and bring us up to speed and give us a little overall preview of the Pineview Panthers for the upcoming season.
Well, thanks, Devin. Thanks for having us again. It's a fun event every year we get to do, so we appreciate it. So these are my captains this year. We're not huge, obviously. We're sitting down right now, luckily, but we got a lot of speed and we got some talent this year. We've got mostly pretty guard heavy lineup with a little bit undersized bigs, but we had a really good summer. We had a lot of success, played a lot of good teams, got a lot of games in. Been hitting the weights hard, trying to get ready for the season, so we're liking it.
Give us like a look at tryouts. How many kids showed up? How hard was cuts? How deep is your varsity roster going to be? What will the rotation potentially look like? I know that changes throughout the season, but what's it look like today?
For us, we don't have a lot of kids right now at Pineview. We didn't have a ton try out. We only have 3 seniors on the squad, and all 3 of those guys will probably start. So we've got Canyon, Weston, and Tim Long. They all played some minutes for us last year. And then we've got Nash coming back, started as a sophomore, and Griffin Shepard. So that's kind of our starting 5. Adam Moore will get some minutes as a sophomore. Trevor Condi's a 6'7" junior, kind of a 4-man for us. Camden Smith played football, our O-line guy. He'll play some minutes. Brody Swenson, 6'5" junior, and then Devin Williams, a little point guard, junior too. So that'll probably be our, about right now, about 10 guys. Some days maybe play 8, some days 10.
With summer ball and preseason, is it quantity over quality? Do you just want to get on the court as much as you can, or do you look at the quality of tournament teams as well?
I think a little bit of both. And we had a few scrimmages against teams just to get a scrimmage in and get up and down a little bit. But there's definitely some better tournaments like the Mountain West. They do up there, the Great Western Classic. We played some, a lot of 5A teams, some 6A teams. When we can get quality teams, it's going to help us get better for sure.
How has conditioning looked so far heading into this season with these guys? Are they getting in shape? They getting ready to go?
Yeah, I feel like this year, even more than last year, and we were guard heavy last year, but these guys are in pretty good shape, and we run quite a bit. Most of our drills are up and down the whole time. I think we're in pretty good shape where we're at compared to other years.
Coach, you've been in the region for a long time. When you look at Region 10 this year, how do you feel it compares to years previous, and what are you looking forward to the most for the region season?
You know, it's always a grind. I mean, everybody's like, is the region down this year? Is it ever down? I mean, I can't go back to a year that we were like didn't have quality athletes. There'll still be Division I players coming out of this region probably. So I love it. I always look forward to it. Every night's going to be a battle. We got great coaches and great players in Region 10, so it's never an easy night.
One of the hot topics, well, at least I'm making it a hot topic, is Layton Christian, because I've asked every coach, your take on Layton Christian eligible to play in the state tournament as a private school?
Yeah, they're good. We watched them play a little bit this summer, and they're huge. They're athletic. But there's good teams in Region 10 and 11. I think there's teams in our region and that other region that could beat them. It's not like they're unbeatable. You know, I'm still predicting a Region 10 state champ this year, so we'll see.
Let's bring in the players here. Nash Schroeder, Canyon Dickinson, Weston Watkins. Nash, we'll start with you. Man, I've been in Nets a couple times outside of today where we're broadcasting our media day from, and you're here, man. You're here. How much time did you spend in the gym this offseason? I feel like you were in the gym a lot, buddy.
Yeah, I just tried to get in the gym as much as possible. You know, being a returning starter, I feel that it takes on a big role to, like, I have to do my part on the team.
What's the dynamic with your dad being a basketball coach as well? I mean, how much has he helped you outside of Coach Eves in practice? You guys grinding on some extra film time, or is he too busy getting ready for the WAC schedule coming up?
Yeah, we butt heads every once in a while, but he's always there, and we're always getting work in together.
Well, I want to hear more about this button heads. What do you guys disagree about? Dishes? Who's doing dishes tonight? Prissy doesn't have to do them all the time, does she?
Dishes, whether to pass the ball, give it up, or shoot it.
So in-game decision stuff?
In-game decision, too.
All right.
Hey, Canyon, over to you. What was your emphasis off-season? What did you want to get better at this past off-season?
Just like shooting, passing, dribbling, you know, just all the basic stuff. I've been trying to get a lot stronger because I'm not very tall, obviously, so it helps to be stronger going against all these better guards and stuff. So.
Now, kind of the consensus from across the region is a lot of teams are looking at their guards. So, how important is it to you guys as a guard? Well, Canyon, for you specifically, how important is it as a guard to be on top of your game going into the season?
I think it's very important because, the guard runs the team. They control everything basically. They're playmaker, so if they're not on, it's hard to get everyone else going. So.
Do you ever get tired?
From time to time, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen. You have one speed and it's 110% where you're playing soccer or basketball, and I feel like you never get tired. Coach, does he ever get tired in practice?
Yeah, when he's on offense, all of a sudden he's too tired to shoot. No, these three right here work. I mean, they're workers, man, and they have a motor, and that's big for us.
Let's bring in Weston. Weston, talk about your leadership role this year and the big minutes you're going to be playing for you and your teammates.
I just think my job this year is going to be to lead and knock down shots because we got Nash and Griff. Obviously, they're great players, and teams know that. So we got to have other guys to step up and get things done. And also, I just hanging out with the guys and making everyone be a better team. And we got that chemistry, so we'll play well together, and I think we'll win some games.
Hey, I want all three of you guys to answer this question. What game do you have circled on your calendar this year? Who do you want to beat?
Honestly, just take it one game at a time, the game ahead of us.
Okay, I'm done with you, Nash. Can you give me a real answer? Who do you want to beat the most?
Same thing, but probably,
okay, I'm done with you, Ken. Give me an honest answer. Who do you want to beat?
Everyone.
All right, I'll take that one.
Everyone.
Nash, you've played as an underclassman. You've got a lot of varsity time under your belt. What's something that you've learned, through some of those, last year? What's something you're really gonna try to do this year to help your team win some games?
I think just finding ways to get others the ball and finding ways to get other guys involved more.
You looking forward to having a 35-second shot clock?
I don't think it'll affect our offense that much till late game, but late game it's going to be totally different for a lot of teams.
You got some new late game plays drawn up, Coach Eves?
I'm just trying to get a shot clock in my gym. Once we get that, we'll be
Wait a
good.
minute, you don't have one yet?
No, they're up, but they're not. I mean, everybody's
Scared me.
still. Half the teams don't have the wireless adapters, but no, there'll be times that we're going to have to put in kind of just a quick hitter right at the end. Ball screen with 10 seconds or less. Something simple that we can just get right into.
Save some timeouts for late game situation.
Yeah, we might have to.
Get that whiteboard out.
Yeah.
What's it like, Nash, playing for Coach E's, man? What's practice like?
We get after it, and it's a lot of fun. And I think Weston kind of touched on it. Like, we're all super close as a team, and we all bond really well together. And I think that'll help us win a lot of games too. Just that alone.
Other than the pit, where's your favorite place to play in region?
I like playing at Crimson. I just feel like their gym's super sharp, like super clean and everything.
Coach E's, where do you hate to coach at? Is there one gym where you're like, I got to go here again?
They're not in our region anymore, but Pineview, I hate playing.
You didn't like playing in the nest?
I hate playing up there. The second worst, probably Cedar. You got to bring your earplugs to play with that band,
You can get hazard pay. You're going to go hard of hearing.
I'm going to bring my AirPods this year and plug them in, I think. So.
I love it. Pineview Panthers. Any other questions for Coach or the guys? No. Guys, have a great season. Thanks so much for stopping by. Can't wait to see you guys get it going. And, Coach, always great to see you and the boys.
Appreciate it.
Pineview Panthers here in our Media Day coverage. Yeah, give them a hand. Give them a hand. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Hurricane Tigers will join us next. Stay with us. We're back here live, Nets on Fire. Fan Sports Network team here as our media panel, ready to talk with the Hurricane Tigers. Mark Musgrave, Caden Formaster, and the coach, Casey Winters. We're glad to have the coach with us, huh? Asking some great questions. He's making us look good today. And now joining us on set, brand new first-year head coach, Coach Schweikert of the Hurricane Tigers. And, Coach, we're going to start with you, and then we'll bring the players in just a minute. But tell us about getting the job, the excitement level, how all that played out, and then give us an overall preview and your thoughts on the upcoming season for your team.
Yeah, to be honest, it's been an awesome experience, and getting to know Hurricane and especially these young men who have been absolutely phenomenal the entire process. One of the first days touring, a bunch of the kids came up and say hello and introduce themselves, and then be able to go from there and finally get to work and really start moving towards our philosophy, both offensively and defensively. A little different from the summer because you have everybody. A little bit more fun. You're getting everybody on the court and getting some of them to play above the rim and learning that confidence that I think they should have moving forward.
Tell us about your philosophy a little bit without giving any secrets away. Like
those trade secrets. Yeah, we like to play fast. We want to play fast offensively and defensively. We have a philosophy of we run and gun, and it's not run and dumb. So we're going to figure out how to do that. And the boys are really catching on to it, to be honest with you, and it's been a lot of fun to watch their progression.
So you like an up-tempo game, so the shot clock probably won't come in to be much of a factor when you're playing the Hurricane Tigers. But what do you think that strategy-wise towards the end of the game that'll bring into that?
Oh, I love the shot clock. I love the idea of the shot clock because there's a lot more basketball philosophy in that X's and O's part that's going to be so much fun at the end of a game. 2 minutes left. You're not just fouling. You have to get down and dirty, that good, solid defensive stop in order to get the ball back. And down 5, it becomes less of an idea of just fouling and you end up losing by 12. And it actually, you're going to see a lot better games at the end of games. And, well-disciplined teams are going to win.
So, of course, you guys talked about being a fast team, but I saw you guys walk in. It looks like you got some size as well. Does size play an advantage for the Hurricane Tigers?
Oh, absolutely. You can't teach size. The best part about it is they know how to play fast, and they know how to use their length, especially on the defensive end, which is going to just allow us to get out and run. And then once we get out on the break, I think we have, because of that length, get up and play above the rim, which is something that we tell our guys to go up and do.
Coach, being new to the region, what are you trying to figure out, about the other teams? What do you know about the other teams? What do you expect your first season in Region 10?
Man, Region 10, I tell you what, you have some phenomenal basketball in Region 10, which is a great thing to come into
because then the rivalries will be that much better. The players that you play against, the scouting reports become even more key to what you're doing rather than just roll the ball out and hope for the best. You have to scout, plan. You have to teach your young men, about X's and O's and make sure they understand their opponents. But I think this is the best region in all of Utah, to be honest with you.
I like it. I do too. I think it's the funnest reason to at least call games on the radio at.
Amen.
For sure.
Amen.
All right, we'll circle back to Coach Schweikert in just a second for some more questions, but let's introduce the guys: Mason Gilbert, Carter Ashby, everybody knows Carter, Caleb Jackman, and Owen Aloha. And let's start with you, Mason, and just give us your overall excitement level and thoughts. How's practices going? You excited for the season? What have you been working on? Bring us up to speed a little bit.
I'm way excited. I can't wait to play in front of the fans, have loud crowds. And I think this team is going to be able to surprise a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to that because we've kind of been doubted in the past, I feel like, a little bit. But I think we're going to be able to surprise a lot of people this year.
And Mason, you do have some of the best hair, by the way, but scoot that microphone on over there to Carter with some really good blonde locks there as well. Carter, you just got done with your football season, probably sooner than you wanted it to be done, but you turned the page to basketball. What's the transition from football to basketball?
Shooting the first week after football is a little rough, not gonna lie, but after that you get back into the rhythm of playing basketball, and I feel like the transition with Coach Schweikart wasn't that bad this year, so I'm excited.
Let's talk a little bit about that transition, right? Being under a new head coach, how's that transition been for you guys in catching on to this new system, and what are you guys looking forward to within that system?
I think it's awesome. He's teaching us the fundamentals of basketball, and our basketball IQ is getting higher and higher every single day, and we're learning to play within our offense, and I think by the start of the season we're going to have really good chemistry within the team.
All right, Owen, I saw a video the other day of you throwing some windmills down after practice. So how many bodies have you caught so far in practice? And if you could dunk on one person in the region, who would it be?
One person?
Yeah.
Probably all of them, but I don't know. I need some revenge on Kyle Lemke, but yeah, that'd probably. I don't know. I love playing with all of them, though.
Caleb, did you see these videos the coach was talking about? Were they any good? Were they good?
Yeah, they were good.
Can you top it?
I don't know if I can top it. We both like to jump a lot, but I'm getting there. I'll be able to top it by the end of the season.
Now, your last name, you come from a basketball family, right?
Yes.
Who's going to win the pickup game at the Jackman Thanksgiving feast next week?
Oh, next week it's definitely going to be me. I'm definitely taking down my brothers.
I love it. I love it. What have you been working on in the off-season?
So off-season, I've really been working on, footwork, being able to use my length, and being able to stretch out and shoot the ball.
Love it. I'm going to go to Carter again. Carter, what have you been working on this offseason to make you a better guard? Maybe is it get these guys the ball in the right place down on the block?
Yeah, kind of just right now I've been working on getting the offense really good to get it to these guys because, they're probably both the two biggest bigs in the region, so work on getting them the ball and facilitating the ball and shooting better as well.
So I want to ask each of you this question. What game are you guys looking forward to the most as you would say your biggest rivalry game this season?
I'll go first. Every single region team probably. I feel like we go everywhere. We got to, I don't know what the phrase is, but I feel like everybody wants a piece of us, and we're going to come and show it this year. So.
Ooh. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, there's really no.
Don't stress over it.
Yeah.
Everybody's good down here.
Who do you really want to beat?
I really want to beat Crimson because I got a bunch of friends that play over there.
There you go.
it.
I want to beat, I would either say Pineview or Dixie. Oh no, I just know some kids from both schools. They won't be expecting us to come out and beat them, but we're going to.
Love it.
They're going to know now. They're going to know now. We're putting this all over the World Wide Web. Coach, how fun is this group to coach?
Yeah, this group's been a blast. To be honest with you, like the video after practice and that, we're having a great time. I think they get along really well. Team chemistry just continues to build. And for me, rivalry-wise, whatever the next game is. You have a phenomenal region that you play in. You have a great preseason schedule, and we have a bunch of young men who want to go out and play. Today, just waiting for this to start, we're talking about our first business trip on Tuesday, and that's the mindset that they have, the buy-in. You hear them talking about winning and that culture that they are buying into, that I think that it's going to go a long way. The fact that they're already saying it. I don't have to tell them, hey, say this, they're buying into that culture, and it's been fun to watch.
What was the first thing you did when you got the job? Was it go back and watch some film of last year's team? Was it call Coach Langston, who just resigned, and pick his brain? Like, what was the first thing or second thing or the sequence like there?
No, the sequence for it was I didn't want any preconceived notions. I want to come in and do my own thing. And the first part about that was getting my coaching staff squared away. And to be honest with you, I think I have one of the best staffs in the state.
Introduce them. Let's hear who you got.
So I have Jay Jones, who's one of my assistant coaches. He was on staff last year. He's been great around the community of Hurricane for a long time. Tyler Ott, who played at Desert Hills. He's a phenomenal basketball player. He's got a great basketball IQ. We have Bryce Thomas, who's a former player
the baby
from Hurricane.
Face assassin.
So we have a lot of great personalities on staff, but they love basketball, and we want to come out and just teach them the game and then let them flourish. Caleb talking about his jump shot. I think we're going to put people in positions to succeed based on their strengths rather than, force them to play on the block or force them to play outside when maybe that's not where they could flourish.
I love it. Coach White, brand new coach in the region, ready to get it going. Next Tuesday, they'll play Wasatch at UVU Tip-Off Classic. That'll be the first game of the season. And then you guys got Canyon View right after Thanksgiving, so ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were 12-12 last year. They're going to try to make some more noise and sneak up on some people this year. And we loved having our chat with the Hurricane Tigers boys basketball team. We're going to take a break, come back. Lots more to get to as we've been through all 7 teams. We're going to recap our Player of the Year, the preseason polls, and all of that. And then the girls will be joining us, so stick around. Welcome back, Nets on Fire. As you can see, people coming in. Guys, the autograph session will start in a few minutes. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to have a lot of fun here, wrapping things up. It's been an unbelievable day, but we've got to get the preseason coaches and media poll. Guys, I'm just going to run them down here, and then I want your reaction. On the boys' side, the preseason favorite is not the defending champs. It's the team they beat in the state championship. The Dixie Flyers are your favorites to win the Region 10 title this year. Snow Canyon's picked second. Crimson third. Desert Hills predicted fourth. They were only 3 wins in the region last year. Lost a lot of close games. Pineview fifth. Cedar picked sixth. And Hurricane picked seventh. Mark, your reaction.
Hurricane 7th. I mean,
new coach, a lot of excitement.
And looking at that height and length that they have, I would be surprised if that's where they finish.
I kind of agree with that. The length of Hurricane is a big deal right there, right? But you know what? Dixie has a lot of really good returning talent. Seeing them at number 1 also makes sense. I like seeing them there. Snow Canyon does take a dip to 2. It's going to be a tough region, though. We've heard it from the coaches. We said it ourselves. I don't think there's a gimme at all right now in Region 10.
Yeah, Kyle Lemke, Jordy Roberts, Grant Carter, Southwick, who was hurt last year, they have reloaded. How much, I wonder, did Lyman Simmons and Hammer leaving have something to do with the voting?
It had a huge difference in there. They were the top 2 scorers on that team, so a lot of points left when they left. But I do think with Mackey and with Will Warner and others, they'll be able to fill those points up.
Our preseason MVP, queued up nicely by Mark Musgrave, Owen Mackey. He was on every single ballot. And Caden, I think he was almost picked first on every single ballot.
He was picked first on the majority of ballots, yes.
Second place was Kyle Lemke, so this makes up your first team all-region preseason team. Jordan Eaton, Lincoln Holmes, Nash Schroeder, and J-Rob, Jordan Roberts. But Owen Mackey is your preseason MVP. Your second team, Cedar Stockton Albrecht, Grant Carter, Will Warner, Houston Johnson, and Eli Allred of Desert Hills. Honorable mention, people that got multiple votes, Ty Bronson, Chomp Jones, Owen Aloha, R.J. Wright, Boston Holbrook, Griffin Shepard, Brecken Robinson, another starter for the Flyer team, Cy Meacham, Hunter Clark, Nephi Aloha, Tyler Brown, John Southwick, Phoenix McWillis, and Mason Gilbert. So those are all other guys to watch for this year and got some votes.
So much talent in Region 10. I cannot wait for this season to tip off.
I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage. Final thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I was just going to say I like the names on that list. There's going to be some good talent here in Region 10 this season.
I think Lemke's going to have something to say for Mackey, though, for preseason MVP.
We'll see how it plays out. So, again, that is our boys coverage. Hope you enjoyed the coverage on the Fan Sports Network and St. George News. For Mark and Caden, I'm Devin Dixon. We'll see you next time for another Media Day coming your way real soon.